Good morning, everybody. We are live if you're watching right this second. And if not, you're listening to a recording of the Love Pod. Today, I am joined by Mr. Julian Torres from season 3 of Love is Blind. Welcome to the Love Pod.
Thank you, Dina. Appreciate the opportunity to be here.
We are so excited to have you here, and we were supposed to be on a couple of weeks ago, couldn't make it happen, but now you're here. We have a ton of fan questions, a lot of fan questions, and we'll be taking them live as well. If anybody's able to pop in, feel free to join us on Instagram or YouTube or wherever you are watching on social and submit your questions. Jordan is backstage and ready to pop them on. If you have some questions for Julian about his unaired pod experience. All right. Are you ready?
I'm about as ready as I can be. I'm pumped. Been waiting for this for a while.
We are pretty gentle, so we're not gonna do anything too crazy. But figure we'll start with some of the really common questions, like how are you cast on the show?
Yeah, that's always a great question. I love answering that, and it feels like there's a common thread with a lot of us now. So I was actually initially contacted via some dating apps. So it was 2020, I think it was. No, actually, maybe it was late 2020. Yeah, it was late 2020, maybe early 2021. And I matched with a woman on one of the dating apps, and she immediately, messages me, and she's like, "I'm not here to date. I'm just here to cast for a show called Love Is Blind. Have you heard of it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've seen it. I would never do it in a million years." And so obviously, rejected it at first, and then they just kind of kept contacting me, Instagram, Facebook, and then eventually LinkedIn. And shout out Kendra, who messaged me on LinkedIn. That's the one that got me to
They're determined.
sign up. Yeah, they're determined. They went after it. So yeah, got that message on LinkedIn from Kendra and chatted with her. Literally, like, I messaged her back, and she was like, "Can you FaceTime me in 30 minutes?" And 30 minutes later, we hop on a FaceTime and we're chatting.
Nice.
And then next thing you know, we're off to the races. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, I think after season 1, that's how most people were cast, or even a lot of season 1 cast members. They're sliding into your DMs. Now, on the dating app, did you think it was a scam? Because I've tried that before for an online version of The Bachelor that we did to cast, and my account got blocked immediately.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Don't have as much pull as Netflix, but
yeah, I thought it might have been maybe a scam. That's why I think I wasn't really like too excited about it until the LinkedIn one. There's something about it being on LinkedIn. I'm like, no, I think this is legit. So
yeah.
yeah, I trusted it, and I mean, I knew that they were casting in Dallas. Like there were rumors all over the place about it. So
Sure.
I thought it was pretty legit.
And what really changed your mind? What did Kendra say, or what happened that you figured you would do it?
Yeah. I mean, Kendra was great. She was a great hype woman. Made you feel really good and comfortable going through the process, and also just like made me feel like just go through the process. Like what have you got to lose? You don't have to accept it if you do get chosen. And so yeah, I don't know. I was just at the time, especially, I was out of a relationship for maybe like 8-9 months. It was still the pandemic, so I was kind of bored at home and just reflecting on life, and just figured it would be a really good opportunity to do it. But shout out Kendra. She was really great.
We're going to track her down and slide into her LinkedIn DMs and see if we can get an interview with her, because I want to know what magic made it happen.
Yeah, she's great.
Now, getting to the pods and getting on set, what was that first day like?
Oh my gosh, so overwhelming. It was honestly, it was one of the coolest experiences, I will say. I mean, just getting to see all of the production and all of the moving pieces that goes into like a show like Love Is Blind. It was really exciting. I think at the moment I was like, I don't know how much more opportunity I'm going to have to experience something like this. I was just soaking it all in, right? Literally, like the lights, the cameras. I mean, the pressure, all of it. It kind of gets your adrenaline going, and it just makes you really appreciate just a production like that. It makes you appreciate all of the people and all of the effort and time that goes into making something like that. There's so much that happens behind the scenes, and so yeah, it was really great. It was overwhelming. I think all of us, the guys at least, of course, we were just excited to get to know each other and just get going and get into the pods. Um, but yeah, again, the staff, the team, at Kinetic and at Netflix, they did a great job of just helping us like ease into that. They were really great.
Nice. Did you try to peep anybody on your flight or getting to the set that you thought might be
Yeah.
on the show?
Yeah, it's actually really funny you say that because I remember being on my flight and going out there, and I saw a couple of guys go on a flight. I was like, "That's a really good looking dude. He's definitely going to be." And I think it was Bartiz actually. I was like, "There's
Really?
no way." Yeah, I mean, he's got this huge stature, this huge presence, right? And I was like, "This, he's got to be one of the guys." What are the chances that he's not if he's on this random flight, on like a Saturday morning to LA? And then I saw a couple of other guys that had like Tony, one of the guys, Tony, he had this like globe on the flight. I'm like, why would you have that unless you were bringing like the item that they ask you to
Right.
bring? So I'm like, I know he's on there. And then, yeah, there was a couple of other hints that I saw. My buddy Devonte, we all had these huge suitcases, and I feel like
Okay.
like you have to actually check the bag, because
Right.
they're that big. You're packing for weeks, and so I also kind of saw a couple of other guys with huge suitcases, like they might be on there too.
Did
Yeah,
you try to sit next to anybody and chat about it on the sly?
I did not actually. I was just like, I want to just kind of because it was almost like the quiet before the storm that flight. Honestly, I
Okay.
remember sitting there, just thinking like, I mean, life could really drastically change, right? After I land in LA here. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? So I just took time for myself. I'm pretty introspective. I like to just kind
Okay.
of mentally prepare myself. Yeah.
And then you step into the pods for the first time. What was your very first question for your first date, and who was it?
Oh my gosh. I think my first date was with Kim,
Okay.
Kimberly. Yeah. And her and I actually wound up going the distance there, which we can get into. But yeah, I think my first date was with Kim, and it was great, actually. I remember walking out and I look over, I think it was Andrew or someone. I'm like, that was awesome. It goes by so quick. It was only 9 minutes. I don't remember the first question, to be
That's
honest with you.
okay.
I kind of, maybe blacked out there with the
Understandable.
pressure. Yeah, because you walk in and you're excited, and then you have to get used to the fact that the cameras are right there. Because even though you're in the pods, you can see the camera right there.
Sure.
So it takes a little adjusting. But yeah, my first date was with Kim. I just remember it being really exciting. Walking out thinking it was awesome, and then next thing you know, I had 14 more to do. Yeah.
It must be long days too. Did you feel like you were over it before that
Yes.
9 minutes was up in certain points and you just wanted to move on, or was everybody pretty interesting to talk to?
There was, I
You
think
don't have to name
everyone.
names.
Yeah, I won't. No, everyone was great. Everyone honestly was great. I remember thinking like they did such a good job of casting incredible people on both sides, both the men and the women. That everyone was so interesting, had a really unique story. So I really was, definitely intrigued by every woman I spoke to. There was definitely a couple though. I was like, yeah, you kind of had a feeling that it wasn't gonna, maybe go beyond that first initial date. And then honestly, by the end of it, so I had, 15 straight. Sometimes you
Right.
have five, you get a break, and then you do 10. I had 15 straight, so I didn't get a break. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, but by the end of it, by my 15th one, I had to pee so bad that I was not listening to what she was saying. I was
Oh
like,
no.
I don't know what you're saying. I'm just focusing on just controlling my bladder right now because I
Thankfully, they
gotta
lock
get out
you
of
in the
here.
pods? They don't let you go out to use the bathroom?
Well, they're on a tight schedule, so I'm sitting there. I'm talking to my producer. I'm like, "If you're hearing me, I need to go." And so, no, I stuck through it that last day. It was a great date, but again, it just between me having to run out of there immediately after it was over and the 14 other dates, I just knew it wasn't going to be the one.
So, who are your other pod connections besides Kimberly?
Yeah. So besides Kim, I really connected with a woman named Lauren or Lo. Her and I hit it off as well. I connected with a woman named Jess. We connected over Wisconsin martinis.
Okay.
And then I connected with Alexa as well.
Okay. And what is a Wisconsin martini?
It is a Miller Lite with olives. You, I know you,
Okay.
it's very divisive, but I promise you, it's really
Yeah,
good.
I don't like either of those things, and then you put them together, and it just sounds awful. But
Yeah, yeah. Not for you, Dina. Not for you.
no, not my thing. Do you still have your pod journal?
I don't, unfortunately. Yeah, yeah. I got rushed out of there. I got rushed off of the
Oh
set when I
no.
didn't propose. So I left my journal and my embroidered blanket behind, unfortunately. But
And
I
you
got
didn't
the
mail
gold
it?
pen.
Okay,
I'm
so you
sorry.
did take something from the set.
I did. I got the pen and I got a couple of these mugs. So
Nice.
we're yeah. I didn't walk out empty-handed.
Okay. Now, you didn't propose. Why did you decide not to?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. Dina, it's one of those things where like I went in and I told myself before going in that I was going to propose if it truly felt right. If I was
Sure.
truly in love with somebody and I truly saw that this as an opportunity, then I would have proposed.
Mhm.
I didn't want to do it just to be on the show.
Okay.
I wasn't going to do it, for the influencer or for the status or anything like that. I wanted to find a wife, and so I went in and I did make two really incredible connections with two great women, Lo and Kim in particular. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel like it would be fair to either them or to myself to propose without being 100% certain, and so I decided not to do it and to see kind of what developed off screen, off stage, and see what happened there.
Did you guys continue to date after the show?
We met up. We did meet up back in Dallas. I mean, the whole cast was pretty tight for a while when we got
Sure.
back to Dallas, and so we hung out for a while, and just eventually decided it wasn't the best connection for us. I think it was just the whole thing is really overwhelming, and you're secluded in these pods, and emotions are high, and you're exhausted, and you're tired. And so I think coming off of that experience, I think you need a little bit of time, honestly, to kind of reacclimate to real life after that. And so I think
Totally
once we did that,
understandable.
yeah, I think we just kind of decided it was best to go our separate ways.
Okay. You mentioned Andrew briefly when you were talking about your first pod date.
Yeah.
Who else were you close to, or who were you close to from the guy's side?
That is such a hard question. When I say that we were all really close, like we were all really close. I definitely loved all of the guys. Everyone was great. I would say in particular, a couple of guys I'll highlight, especially while we were filming. That during my time there, I got really close with Brennan.
Okay.
He and I had a lot of just like deep conversations, and we bonded over a lot of things around like history and education stuff. His mom was a teacher, so we talked a lot about that. um, let's see, I got close with Devonte and Summer, who I think were briefly shown. Andrew, I got really close with as well. Developed a good connection with SK. Um, yeah, a couple guys, Tony Lascalia, who was also briefly shown. I mean, there's
Everyone.
literally there's
Everyone.
those are my guys. Yeah, those are
And
my guys.
we
Parties. Yeah.
we know obviously you're friends with Vince from season 6 and Kenny from season 1 too. So shout out to
Yep.
them. Vince is actually the one who connected us. So thanks
Yep.
to Vince.
Thank you,
We
Vinny.
had seen Andrew in a particularly infamous Love is Blind clip putting the Visine in his eyes.
Yeah.
Did you get the feeling he was genuinely there for love, or were there certain people maybe there for alternative reasons?
Oh gosh, that scene cracks me up. I thought he was there for the right reason. Honestly, I,
Okay.
I, I really did. He helped me a lot. I think he and I talked a lot on set just about like how we were feeling about the whole process and like what
Sure.
we went through and who we were connecting with. And I mean, he really is. He's brilliant and he's a great listener. And he gives really great advice. And so I always got the feeling that he was there for the right reasons. I think at that point, honestly, it's like you're drained, you're tired, and sometimes the timing of things doesn't always like add up the right way. So it's like, you kind of already cope with the decision, or with an outcome of something, right? So, um, yeah, I think he was there for the right reasons. The eye drop thing, that's I don't know. That's just Andrew. I don't know what to say, but I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was so
It
funny.
was. He's definitely a memorable personality despite not having an extended storyline on any
True.
season of the show, I would say.
Exactly.
Are there moments that you wish did air? I'm sure Andrew wishes that one didn't. We've heard a lot about certain toasts or funny moments going on in the living quarters or during the dates. So, what is something that stands out that you didn't see on TV?
There's a few moments. I think for myself, I think there's a couple of really beautiful moments that I had with some folks where we're talking about just life. Where I was talking about my father, who at the time was going through chemo, and just the importance of that in my life. And I also talked at one point with somebody about what it means to be Puerto Rican, and just how that's affected me in dating and in life in general. And that was beautiful. But there were some really good moments there that I wish could have aired. I think outside of that, there was one really funny moment where it was. I think we aired in October of 2022. So they had us one night pick costumes that we would all wear, and
Okay.
so I forget, like Bartiz dressed up as Tarzan. I was in a monkey suit. Someone I think was an astronaut. Someone Dakota was a potato, and so we all had these dates in these costumes, and it was late at night, and we decided at one point that Bartiz was gonna come bang on everybody's pod door, and that was a sign for all of us to go back out into the lounge, have a quick shot and a quick toast, and then just run back in.
Okay.
Uh, he did that, and then Nancy actually did that for the women too at the same time. And so it was just a really funny, really cool moment that I wish was aired. I think people would have liked that.
Yeah, I wish we would have seen that too. It's funny that it's Love is Blind and you guys can't see each other on the other side of the pod walls, but yet everybody's in costume. That
Yeah,
reminds me a little bit of like Love Island, where they have costume party theme nights or the
exactly.
circle. I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. Maybe a future season.
yeah. Maybe a future one. There was some cool dates. I mean, that one in particular is fun because you had to describe your costume and why you chose that costume, to the other
Yeah.
person. And so yeah, there were some pretty cool date ideas like that there.
So why the monkey suit?
I didn't ask for that, I wanted.
No
I
one
think
asked for that.
yeah, no one asked for a monkey suit. I asked for a grizzly bear. I was like, I want a grizzly bear with a bow tie, because I feel
Okay.
like I don't know. I was like, I'm a large guy. I've got the beard, kind of like a grizzly feature. I was like, but I want to put a bow tie on it to class it up. And they come back and they're like, yeah, we couldn't find that in the store. I was like, we are in Hollywood and you can't find a single bear costume. So he's like, the closest thing we have is a monkey suit. And so I was a monkey. I guess there you go. That was it.
I will say, from what I've heard of how fast things come to be when you guys make requests, I am not buying for a second that they could not get a bear suit. I think that was very
Right?
intentional on somebody's comedic part that you ended
Yeah.
up in a monkey suit and you still went with it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Had to be a good sport. You got to be able to laugh at yourself and have fun. That's exactly what we did. Yeah. Actually, one of the producers came up to me afterwards and he was like, Julian, seeing you run down that hallway in a monkey suit's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Did you try to run like a monkey?
It was a little bit more of like a hop and a skip.
Okay.
Not so much a run, but yeah, I definitely did my best monkey impression.
Okay. Now, speaking of monkeying around, we have our Instagram deep dive segment. If anybody hasn't seen this before, we'll try our best to explain or have you explain the picture that we're about to show for those who aren't watching us, who might be on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And then we're just going to ask your immediate reaction to seeing this picture, what was going on in the moment. We've got 3 photos. It's very similar to if anybody's seen Hot Ones, Hot Takes. We're doing pretty much the same thing. So thanks, Sean, for that. So,
Love
Jordan,
it.
let's roll with that first picture.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, so what do we have going on here?
Oh gosh, I love that picture. So to the left is one of my best friends of all time. That's Cami. And to the right is her now husband, Wright. That was obviously during their wedding. And Cami and I, we've known each other since college. We've been dear friends. And she had always wanted me to officiate her wedding.
Okay.
So I am a registered officiant. So if you're in the state of North Carolina or Texas, you can officiate. Hit me up. And yeah, she asked me to officiate, and that was at their wedding, and that was just a really cool moment where Wright was giving his vows, and he just had this really incredible, funny line about being a pizza girl,
Okay.
knowing how much Cami loves pizza. Yeah, I'm really glad that moment was caught. It was a beautiful moment.
It's a great picture. Was that your first wedding you officiated?
That was my first wedding. Yeah, that I
Oh my
officiated.
goodness. How
Yeah.
many have you done since then?
I was supposed to do another, which was canceled, and that's the only one.
Oh,
So I'm trying to get more
okay.
under my belt. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I got good feedback though. So
Oh,
if you're
good.
looking for someone, I'll share some contacts and some references.
Yeah, if you're in North Carolina or Texas and you're getting married, reach out to Julian.
I got you.
Okay. What's the next one on our list, Jordan? Oh, look at you. Your official cast photo.
There we go. There we go. Oh gosh, yeah. It seems like it was just the other day we took that.
Now, your bio says, I love women with a magnetic personality, not because they seek attention, but rather because they're naturally charming and nice. Does that still hold true?
I'm not gonna lie to you, Dina. I do not remember writing this.
Is it
I'm sure I
possible that you
did.
didn't?
Oh, absolutely. It's impossible that I did it. I mean, everything's possible. uh, I definitely don't think they would have just like pulled it out of nowhere. I think this came from like when you're applying, there's like a 330 question survey you've got to fill out. I mean, it takes a long time. And I remember just doing it over the course of a few hours one night. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to have some wine and I'm going to answer all these questions. So at that point, yeah, I'm sure I wrote it. I don't remember it, but I do love a magnetic personality. I just love somebody who I don't know, not necessarily who seeks attention, but just somebody who has a good, warm, easy personality. Someone who's really easy to talk to, and just like their nature and their character and how they carry themselves just makes you want to just talk to them and feels comfortable being yourself in front of them, which is something that's really important to me.
Okay. And are you still looking? Are you still single?
I am not looking anymore. I'm not single, and I'm extremely happy.
Good.
Yes, with just an incredible woman, uh, someone who I've just always dreamt of being with. So yeah, not single anymore.
We are so happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Now, let's move on to the last one we've got for our deep dive. Julian, you are on screen in a very spiffy looking sweater vest and tie. And it says you look good on camera, though. So, what is going on here? Was this pre Love is Blind fame?
Yeah, yeah, I forgot about this. This was yeah, way before Love Is Blind, maybe like a year or two before. But this was a promo video for an organization that I used to work with, and they just needed a couple of their, I guess, like more senior leaders to, be a part of the video, and jumped on, and that was, I guess, one of the clips that was highlighted to me. So I thought it was funny and pulled it out.
Okay.
And the funny thing, Dean, is actually so when this clip was shared with me, it was the initial edit of it. So we got a preview of it, and then they cut it down again when they showed it to the entire organization, and they cut my part out completely. So it's not the that was like a
No.
precursor to Love Is Blind, right? So not not only was I barely showing Love Is Blind, but I was cut out of this one too, which I think is really funny.
Well, you know what they say, third time's the charm. So you just have to find another reality
Ooh,
show or
I
another
don't
filming
know.
opportunity.
I don't. Maybe I don't know. I'm not going to say no because I also said I would never do Love Is Blind, but my
That's
reality days might be
true.
behind me. You know.
There's plenty of other reality shows. You don't need to go on a dating show. Can you cook? Can you
Exactly.
run?
I can. I can. Yep. The knees are taking a hit with the running, but yeah, I can cook. Maybe a little Amazing Race in the future. We'll see.
Okay, I would love to see that. Maybe you and Vince on The Amazing Race
Hon-
future.
Honestly, we talked about that not long ago about you and I partnering up. So I don't know, Vinny, if you're listening, we'll have to talk about
I'm sure he will be. He's a big supporter and we appreciate it.
that.
Now, moving on, it is time for a little game. Now, I'm going to give you the choice of,
Okay.
and I think you know two of these. They're pretty classic drinking games, but it is 9:30 in the morning here, so I'm not going to drink. You're welcome to. You can play Would You Rather, Never
Okay.
Have I Ever, or what we're calling Rapid Fire First Date, which is where we just ask some fun, get to know you questions that you might be asked on a first date.
Ooh, let's go rapid fire.
All right. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Ooh, probably New York, New York, Frank Sinatra.
Okay. Are you a good singer?
Terrible.
Oh,
Terrible.
great. That's what we love to hear.
Yeah.
I love, I think you go to karaoke for the bad singing. You never go intentionally to hear amazing singers. It's
No,
intimidating.
it absolutely is. Yeah. And I will definitely need a drink or two before going up on that stage. So,
Oh man, I did it once and I had a few too many drinks and thought a Destiny's Child song would be great.
oh,
Because that's got to be pretty easy. And I did not realize until I was up there about a quarter of the way through the song how much rapping there is in a Destiny's Child song. And I don't know, you've seen me now for a few minutes on this camera. You've seen some pictures of us on Instagram.
yep.
I don't look like anybody who can pull that off. And I am certainly not anybody who can pull that off. So that was the end of my karaoke days. So more power to you if you can get through it and know that you're not
Yep.
great and keep going.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you did great, Dana. I would listen
No.
to you sing Destiny Child any
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You're the only one. Nobody wants to hear that ever again.
day.
Now, do you have a favorite reality show?
Yeah, Love is Blind.
Oh, obviously.
Obviously. I mean, in all seriousness, like I did not really watch reality TV before Love is Blind. I watched Love is Blind because it was pandemic. I was binging everything on all of the platforms.
As we all were.
Yeah, and saw Love is Blind, and I mean, after like the second episode, I was hooked. And so it's to this day, there's only really two that I watch, and it's Love is Blind and The Circle. I think The Circle is also really great.
Are you going to watch the new season?
I am. Yeah, I'm excited for it to come out. Yeah. I think
Me
it's next
too.
week, right?
It is April 17th, I believe, and Jordan
Yeah.
and I are going to cover it, and then we're going to have a
Nice.
special guest pending. Do you remember season 1, Alex/Adam?
Oh yeah, there you go.
So he is hopefully going to join us for a recap or two. His wife is actually due very soon. So
Oh,
I don't know that he's going
awesome.
to be available. They're having a little girl, but we're hoping that obviously everything goes well and the baby is here in a timely
Yes.
manner. But
Yes.
if not, we totally understand. I'm so excited for them. They're going to be great.
Well, cheers to them and their new family.
Yeah. Okay. Now, do you have a comfort show?
Um, I think I have a few comfort shows that I
Okay.
cycle through. The first is going to be, I feel like it's a lot of people's comfort show. It's The Office. Love The
Mhm.
Office. I also love Parks and Rec, and
Yes.
I love New Girl. Those are my three kind of comfort shows.
We would have a binge watching marathon, a real good one.
Yeah,
Have
there
you
you go.
seen The Good Place or Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
I've seen both, and I love both. Yeah.
Yes, all that same universe. My dog is actually one of my dogs is named Jake Peralta because I just love the show so
That's
much. I
great.
had to name him that.
Well, I
And
named my dog Winston after Winston
after
Bishop from
Winston,
New Girl. Yeah.
have you heard his podcast?
I haven't, no, but I actually just heard an advertisement for it because I listened to We're Here to Help with Jake
Yes.
Johnson. Yeah, so
Mhm.
it's on my
Love
queue.
Love We're Here to Help, and Lamorne's podcast is really funny too. They're all so great, and you can,
Yeah,
if you love New Girl, you can see their personality shining through in those
absolutely,
characters too. And they have
absolutely.
guests on from the show. I think the only one that
Yeah,
Here to Help hasn't had is Hannah Simone.
that's right.
Um, so we've made the rounds. If anybody out there likes New Girl, you'll love those podcasts, even if you're not a podcast person. What is your favorite podcast besides the obvious Love Pod?
Besides Love Pod, yeah. Love the Love Pod, and I do love what you guys are doing. I think it's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I appreciate what you're doing to highlight different people from different seasons,
Yeah, we
the
love
different
talking to
stories
you
out there.
guys.
But yeah, outside of Love Pod, I love We're Here to Help. That's one of my
Mhm.
favorite ones. And then I'm also really big into like, mental health, especially regarding men. So there's one called Man Talks
Okay.
by I'm forgetting his last name. His first name's Connor, but that's another really great podcast as well that just, talks about different things about just, men's wellness and health and how to be, just the best version of yourself and creating a community of men to support each other. So that's another one I listen to a lot.
Have you listened to, oh my gosh, it's so funny. I was just thinking of Bunny Hugs and Mental Health is another podcaster who I was just going to talk about, has a mental health podcast and co-hosts the podcast about mental health with Nick Thompson from season 2. So their question was, do you have any thoughts on the UCAN Foundation?
I don't have any thoughts right now. I don't, I want to do a little bit more research into that, but I appreciate, I think again, just the advocacy that they're putting out there, and what they're doing to try to make sure that, more voices are being lifted, more stories are being told.
Hmm.
And I'm just a big, proponent of, just people having the information that they need to make the best decision for themselves. And so, yeah, appreciate that
Yeah.
work, but definitely looking forward to learning a little bit more.
Great things that they're doing. And thank you for stopping by. I was literally just going to bring up the podcast as you popped on with that question. So excellent timing. You read my mind. Okay, back to our rapid fire first date questions. This is a very divisive one. I know that people are going to come hard at this, and I apologize in advance.
Okay.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I'm a native New Yorker.
Me
I was
too.
where okay. I was
Yeah.
where in New York? I'm from the Bronx.
I'm from Comac, from Long
Okay, all
Island.
right. Long Island. Yeah, yeah. My
Yeah.
my girlfriend's actually from Western New York.
Nice.
So very different parts. Like New York is,
Yes,
is
it's
very
like the
different.
whole spectrum.
Absolutely. But as a native New Yorker and one from the city, because again, I'm learning that there's differences.
Mhm.
I'm of the belief that pineapple does not belong anywhere near or around a pizza or a pizza shop or anything that resembles a pizza in
Okay.
any way, shape, or form. But if you love it and if it's for you, I love that for you. It's just not for me.
I grew up obviously on Long Island. I'm very familiar with the whole New York pizza route. It has been very difficult having lived in Florida and Arizona to find good pizza. But I
Yeah.
will say, in my college days or any kind of trash pizza, I don't want to name names, Hungry House, or like a Little Caesars, but I think in those cases, pineapple is acceptable because you have to mask the taste, right? Like it's not
Yeah,
your quality. It's just you got to get through it.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Now, in that same food realm, for some reason, you have to choose a last meal. It is not an we don't know the reason. You just know at some point in the future it's going to be your last one. What
Okay.
are you going with? Now, you can pick anything, everything, but we keep in mind
Gosh.
we only have like an hour. So,
I was just say I can talk about food for as long as you need me to. Um, Gosh, that stuff. Okay, I'm trying to think of like some of my favorite meals from my favorite restaurants. I'm thinking of Jorge's Tacos from Ebar in Dallas. Shout out, you guys are great. I think yeah, pizza from Famous Joe's in New York is probably gonna be my main entree. Maybe a couple slices there. I would want a little bit of my mom's cooking as well. She cooks just the best food. Her arroz con gandules, her mofongo, pasteles, they're all just incredible. And then for dessert, I'm probably going to wrap it up with a slice of New York cheesecake. Maybe
all
it's up there.
right. I like it. I like the eclectic mix of all different kinds of cuisines and areas of the country, restaurants, home cooking.
All
Sounds
of
like
it.
a well-balanced meal.
I'm not gonna feel great after, but if it's my last meal, I mean,
Yeah,
oh
then
well.
who cares? Assuming everybody and every pet is safe from a fire, what is it that you are choosing to save?
If there was like a fire in my house,
If there was a fire, yeah, in your house.
okay.
Sorry, I should have led with it. If there's a fire in the world and
In
you're
the world.
getting on a spaceship, no, in your house.
um. Oh gosh. Yeah. Assuming all people and pets are safe, I think I'm
Mhm.
gonna grab the mementos of my late father.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a shadow box. I'm in my office right now looking at it, and just a shadow box with his dog tags from his time in the service, his ribbons, a picture of him. So I would want to grab that and make sure that his legacy can continue.
Oh, that's incredible. And I'm sorry for your loss. I know that was relatively recent in this
Yeah,
span of time. So, we're sending you our love and that you're
thank you.
still able to do this and have the positive memories, obviously. And that's the first thing that you would grab. It's very, very sweet. And we
Yeah,
love to
thank
hear
you.
that. If we were on a first date and I heard that, that would sell me on a second date for sure.
Appreciate that, Dan.
Now,
Thank you.
back to dates. What is the worst date you've ever been on?
Oh gosh. Yeah, there's like two that come to mind. Um, there's this one date where it was actually going really, really well. I thought conversation was flowing really nice, and the connection wasn't there, so I don't think there was going to be a second date.
Okay.
But I don't know if she had stuff to drink beforehand or maybe what,
Okay.
because we were there for maybe 30-ish minutes. We each had maybe a drink and a half. That's it. So, it really wasn't a long time. And she kind of just immediately just became a different person. I could tell like she
Oh,
wasn't all there. So I was like, I'm going to go close this out. I'm going to come back and then I'll order you a lift if you need. I come back to that table and she's just vaping and passed out on her arm.
oh my God.
Yeah, it was kind of comedic, but I'm also like, how am I in this situation right now? So I like kind of poked her. I was like, are you okay? Like, do you need help? She just picks her head up, vapes, puts her head back down. Uh, so I go to the bartender. I'm like, I don't think you overserved her. There's no way unless she was drinking beforehand. But I was like, I think she might need some help. And he was like, oh yeah, I've seen her do this a few times. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of her.
Oh my
So
God.
I was like, great. Knowing that the bartender was going to take care of her, I was like, I'm going to head out. I hope you're okay. And led and left.
So that was a regular occurrence for her.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I wasn't upset. I thought it was hilarious. Immediately called my friends on the way home, and we had a laugh about it. It was pretty funny.
That
I
is
hope I hope
funny.
she's okay. I hope she's all right.
She's still passed out at that same table just after a different date
That's the legend. Yeah, she's still at the same table.
to this day. Do you have a guilty pleasure?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I'm a sucker for my friends make fun of me for this. I'm a sucker for like butter in my popcorn and like sauce in general, right? Like
Okay.
I try to eat somewhat healthy. I try to eat balanced meals, as long as it's not pineapple on pizza. But I like popcorn, for example. If we go to the movies, it is going to be swimming in butter.
Okay.
And if that's not you, like my girlfriend and I said, we got to get separate bowls because we're gonna have
Mhm.
different types of butter. And then I will sauce everything so much. Like if we go to a restaurant and I'm getting like maybe like French fries or wings or something like that, I'm gonna ask for like 8 different sauces for all of my food. So it
Okay.
is not good for you. I feel bad about it, but you
You'll
know,
be okay. If that's the
I'll be all
worst thing
right.
that you do, I think you're doing all right in life.
I appreciate that.
Now, I just want to remind anybody watching, you can submit questions for Julian. This is a fan Q&A. We have a ton of questions we're about to get to in just a second, but if you have other ones you think of while you're sitting here watching, please feel free to ask them. We will pop them on that screen. Jordan is ready and waiting for you on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, I think. Eventually, we'll do TikTok too, but our TikTok is relatively new. So we don't have enough followers there to go live yet. But submit your questions. We are ready and waiting. I will ask you one last rapid fire question, and then we will move on to the fan Q&A.
Great.
If you had 3 wishes from a genie, what would they be?
Oh gosh, that is the hardest question. And I can't ask for more wishes, right? Because I feel like that's a
No,
cop
you
out. I feel like
cannot.
that's
I'm going to have to add that as a caveat
yeah.
to
Oh gosh. 3 wishes. I don't know. I think, I mean, maybe I'm just too altruistic here, but like the first thing I thought of is like I just peace and joy for people. You know,
Okay.
you can't make people see peace and joy, but maybe give them the opportunity to want to like, have whatever peace and joy, whatever that means for them. Just give that to them. I think everyone could use a little bit of more, just peace, love, and joy in their lives. Everyone deserves that.
I
Uh,
like
I'd,
it.
s- I'd say the second thing is to make my dog Winston just live forever. At least with me, I want to bring him everywhere. He is the love of my life and pride and joy, along with my girlfriend, of course. Um, and my third wish, oh gosh, that's a tough one. I would say the ability the ability to speak with people who are no longer on this earth.
That's a very good one. That's one I haven't had before either.
Yeah, I think
I
it would.
like that.
Maybe it would be cool. I don't know. Maybe it might be a little daunting and dark, but I think that'd be pretty neat. You can maintain those relationships.
Absolutely. Now, moving on to the lighter side, let's get into these fan questions. We do have quite a few, so I'll get to as many of them as I can, as
Let's
quick
do it.
as possible. We'll start with Instagram, and we like to give compliments when they come up. So the first one was I saw Jules a total of 7 seconds of screen time, and he is a star. And that is from R. Finegloss. Is that a
Oh
friend of
yes,
yours?
that's my dear friend Rebecca. Yep.
Or yeah, they are a friend of yours.
Yep.
And then also submitted a question. The dating pool in Dallas isn't that big. Did you happen to know any cast before filming?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you, Rebecca. Appreciate that. I Yes, it's funny because going on to the show, I remember telling a couple of friends, I was like, I had lived in Dallas at that point for like 10, 11 years. And to her point, Dallas is not that big. So I was like, what if there's somebody in there? And like, there's no way. Like, it's a big enough city that like 15 women, there's no way one of them is going to be someone you dated. Turns out there was somebody that I did go on a date with.
Uh-oh.
I walk in the pod and I hear her voice, and she's like, "Hello, my name is Zenab," and I'm like, "Oh gosh, I mean, Zenab is such a unique but
Yeah, there's
beautiful
not 2 of
name. Like,
those.
there's no way." And then she, tells a little bit more of what she does. She's like, "I'm a flight attendant." I'm like, "Yep, this is her. This is Zenab." And turns out she had the same realization when she heard my name and a little bit about me. Um, and Yeah, we had gone on one date. It was a hinge date, like maybe a year or two prior to that. It was a great date, but again, just I think the chemistry and spark wasn't there. So we had a really pleasant date, and we actually joked about that afterwards when we all were able to meet up as a cast. We were just able to joke about that. It was a fun little moment.
Did production know that you 2 knew each other at any
Uh,
point?
they found out after someone had said something. I was like, I'm not going to say anything. So I don't know. Maybe I'm assuming maybe she had mentioned something, and they're hearing everything you say, and so I think they probably asked her. And they came running. My producer came running out to me. And was like, "Do you know Zenab?" I was like, "I do." It's like, you can't. Don't say anything. Like, we don't want to ruin the experience from it. I was like, "Of course not." Like,
Yeah.
so just kept that to myself.
Okay, I think that's not too common, but I've heard a couple instances where that happens. And the first time they really highlighted anybody knowing anybody was with Uche and Aaliyah, but it's
Ooch,
certainly
yeah.
happened in previous seasons.
Yeah, yeah, I remember them airing that. I think that was the Houston season, season 5, I think. And yeah, that was wild that they aired that. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I get it. It's possible. So
Yeah, even in these big cities, the dating pool is pretty small.
exactly. Exactly.
We do have a live question from Dakota Easley. On a scale of 1 to 10, how close were you to getting engaged on the show?
Dakota. Dakota, I'm looking forward to seeing you in a couple of months, my friend. Let's see, scale of 1 to 10, how close? I was pretty close. I'd say I was maybe like around an 8, 8.5.
Okay.
So I mean, day 10 of the pods is the last. That's the day you're supposed to propose if you're going to. And so I was there day 10, and I had to decide between Kim and Lo. And um, I don't know. I mean, I think at some moments I was like at a 3. I was like, "There's no way." But then at other moments I was like, trying to just challenge myself to maybe take a leap and take a chance and see what happens. And I would say the closest I got, yeah, is about an 8. And especially when I'm seeing all of the other guys, I'm seeing Brennan walk in engaged, I'm seeing Cole walk in engaged, and Bartise, and all these guys coming in super excited, and I'm like, maybe I can do it. Maybe I should just give it a shot. And so, yeah, I did get pretty close.
Okay.
I would say 8 is about where I got.
Another question, and I think this might be another friend of yours. What is your thing about is it Tony LaScalia or La Scalia
La
from
Scalia.
Already Everything?
Yeah, yeah. Tony's yeah, he was on the show with us, of course.
Mhm.
And he introduced me. I think my one of my favorite things about him, and I love him dearly. He's got so much to offer this world. My favorite thing is that he introduced me to one of my good friends now, Caroline, who's all read everything. He's a great connector of people. And when he found out that I was moving to Charlotte, North Carolina, he immediately put me in touch with Caroline, and through her, I've been able to meet a lot of other really great people too. So that would be my favorite thing.
And Tony, we'd love to have you on the show if you would like to join us. If not, we totally understand. But you've got a lot of fans out there, Julian, whether they're friends or strangers. You're definitely a memorable personality who didn't have a ton of time on the show, but should have.
I'm glad it worked out the way it did. I consider myself a lucky man. I've got incredible people in my life, and I'm not one for fame and attention in the spotlight. So I'm actually like, I'm relieved I got what I did get. My
Yeah.
7 seconds is all I need. And more than anything, I walked out with incredible new perspective. It does teach you a lot just about relationships and love and communication. And I don't think I would be with the incredible women that I'm with today had it not been for the experience on that show.
How did it change the way you date?
It really puts things into perspective in terms of what you're looking for and what you value. I think prior to going on the show, it's so easy to just swipe on somebody you think is physically attractive, and you're like, all right, well, they're cute, they're hot, like everything else I can figure it out, I can make it work. And that's how you go through a bunch of bad dates, right? And or relationships that just don't work, because you're starting them off based off of the wrong thing. And so I think for me to go through that experience and to not only to be able to make connections with women based off of just who they are. I had no idea what Kim, what Lo, Alexa, or any of the other women looked like, and I genuinely felt something for them. So not only that, but also to be loved by women who did not know what I looked like. I had 2 women just who were making me feel like I was on top of the world, and they had no idea what I looked like, just who I was and what I was talking about and what I believe in and what I value. And I think coming out of that, I was like, this is what it should feel like. I think this is what really knowing somebody, and loving somebody for who they are, that is what it should feel like. And so I think I was able to take that experience, and that lesson, and apply it to my life after Netflix, and after Love Is Blind, when I'm actually dating in real life. And Yeah, I think because of that, I was able to, I had one relationship after that. And I think that was definitely something in that relationship where I was like, no, I want a little bit more of that emotional connection. Like that is so incredibly important to me. And so placed the value on that. And that led me to where I'm at now with my girlfriend now, who yeah, again, I couldn't be happier.
Is her name Crystal by any chance?
It is not Crystal. No, it
Okay,
is not Crystal.
we'll get to why in a minute.
Okay.
First, I'm gonna send you a compliment from the man, the myth, the legend himself. Vince says we love you. Couldn't be here right now, but did want to send you his love.
Love you, Benny.
And then we're gonna hop into our Facebook questions. The first one
Okay.
is from Errol L. Sorry if I said that wrong or if it's Ariel. Are you related to Trevor from season 6?
I am not, but I have gotten that question a couple times. I'm not related. I guess I can see the resemblance, but no, not related to Trevor.
I mean, vaguely, in that you both have dark hair and
The dark
beards.
features
I
and
don't
yeah,
yeah.
beard. He could probably lift me up and throw me out a window if he wanted. Yeah, no, we do not have any relation.
Besides Vince, have you met anybody else from the season 6 cast?
I have, yeah. I've met a bunch of guys from the show. I briefly met Johnny, um, and then Ben, and a couple of Austin, a couple of the other guys. They're great. They're awesome. I think they did a really great job casting the Charlotte season on both sides of it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to know them some more.
Yeah, we're gonna get to know them too. Ben and Austin at least are gonna be on this show.
Awesome.
Austin, I believe, next week, and then Ben, we're still kind of coordinating schedules with, but we have them coming up too. We're excited about that.
It's exciting. Great guys. They're great guys.
Our next Facebook question is from Aaliyah D. What did you instantly dislike or like about your pod experience?
I think one thing I instantly liked, um, I think just the fact that you're in that power talking to somebody who also wants a similar like thing out of life. Everybody who did that signed up for. I think everybody was on a show, at least in our season. I think everyone was truly there to find love and to try to meet their partner. And so talking to somebody who had just similar, I guess, goals in life was really cool. And that's why I think it was easy to talk to everybody in the pods and why we all connected as friends outside of the pods when we were back in real life. One thing I disliked, honestly, the cameras. The cameras
Okay.
that it took me a long time to get used to the cameras being there. And so for me, it definitely was hard to kind of like let my guard down a little bit more. I had to ease into that.
Sure.
As you get into it, like maybe by day 3, day 4, like the days are so long that like by day 3 or 4, it feels like you've been there for weeks. That you get a little more used to it. But at first, yeah, it was really hard for me to get over that.
Kind of a necessary evil for a reality show, unfortunately. I always said if this
Yep,
experiment weren't filmed, I would do it in a heartbeat if I were single.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Now, this one is a pretty common one. I'm sure you've gotten it a lot. Did they feed you and give you water? From Don T and Ham Mom on Reddit.
Yeah, thank you, Don T and Ham Mom. Yeah, they fed us plenty. Honestly, I ate a lot. We had 3 square meals. As soon as you wake up in the morning at the hotel, they're asking you what you want for breakfast. They bring you your meal. There's always snacks and food on set. There were snacks in the pods, and if you needed more, you could just ask. And for the most part, like the staff was pretty good about getting that for you. So yeah, I ate plenty. Water too. Had plenty of water. Had plenty of food.
Did you have plenty of booze too? I'm sure eased the nerves.
Well, there was no shortage of that. That's for sure. There was no shortage of that. Yeah, I that is one thing. Like if you're not thinking about it, especially if you're a little nervous and you want a drink or two to kind of calm yourself
Mhm.
a little bit. If you're not aware of that, it can get a little crazy.
Oh, I could definitely see that being tempting when you're on camera for the first time. You're going on
Yeah.
15 dates and you got to pee and you can't get out of those pods. I can only imagine.
Yeah, yeah. That's definitely one of the downsides and risks to it.
Now, the thirst is real in these last kind of comments from Facebook. One from Crystal, as I mentioned before, that is one fine ass man, which is why I thought maybe that might be your girlfriend. And then
No.
we obviously know the answer to this one from Jennifer S. Are you still single? We know
I
that
am
is not the case.
extremely flattered nonetheless. I appreciate it. Thank you, Crystal and Jennifer.
Now, are you familiar with Reddit? Have you been on the Love is Blind subs in Reddit at all?
I think when we were first released, we were all on Reddit. Let's be honest. I think we're all like, yeah, have you seen this subreddit? And so I definitely think that I was early on, and I was like, I'm gonna stay away from it. So I love Reddit. I haven't been on the Love Is Blind one for a while.
Okay, so we've had a couple of questions from Reddit. I'm sure since you've been on there, it's a different vibe than Instagram or Facebook or any other social media platform. So these
Sure is.
questions are a little bit different. And some
Okay.
of them are about your fellow cast members. So we said we will ask them, but if you don't know or don't want to comment, that is totally okay too. And
Okay.
the first one came from Different State 532, and they want to know if Alexa and Brennan apologized to Cole after coming at him so hard in the reunion.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they apologize. I don't know what conversations they had. I mean, I think I've been in the same room as them before, and I didn't sense
Sure.
any tension or anything like that. So I don't know. I know Cole is happy and he's living his best life, and I know Alexa and Brennan are also happy. And I haven't,
Yeah,
I have never heard from either party. I've never heard one
sure.
of them say anything negative about the other. I think there's still a certain level of respect there. So
Good.
yeah.
All right. What did you think about Cutie Gate?
Yeah. I think that showed you a little bit more just about like reality TV and just the reality to it, right? Is that there's so much that not only goes unshown, but there's so much that's up for just like, perception, right?
Sure.
I definitely think, I think both people, probably had a lot to like reflect and think about that. And hopefully they both kind of took away what they needed to take away from that. But yeah, I think if anything, that just showed that, perception really matters. It does matter. Um, and yeah, you can't always, take what you see on reality TV and think that that's just like
Yeah,
the matter of fact truth.
I totally agree. It is only such a small glimpse into what actually happens after hundreds of thousands of hours of filming or thousands of
Yeah,
hours of filming.
yeah.
And then the last question we have from the fans is, do you think the girls have distanced themselves from Zanab as it seems they have on social media?
I don't think so. No, I don't
Okay.
think so. I know. I mean, Zenab is a girl's girl, and I know she loves them and she's there for them, and I know they feel similarly from those that I've spoken with. And so, yeah, definitely have no reason to believe that they've distanced themselves from her or vice versa. Yeah, I think that relationship is still strong.
Yeah, I didn't get that impression either, but everybody's perspective is different. So
Exactly.
I figured I would ask it because it came up. And then would you like to play one more game to close out the show?
Why not? Let's do it.
All right. How do you feel about some would you rather?
Okay, let's do it.
Because that's the one I have up at the moment.
Sounds great, Tina.
Would you rather have telekinesis, the ability to move things with your mind, or telepathy, the ability to read minds?
Ooh, so I think initially I'd say telepathy, but that feels evil, and I already think I'm like pretty emotionally in tune with other people, and I think being able to know their exact thoughts would drive me nuts,
Okay.
honestly. So even though it seems cool, I think for my own sanity and mental health, I'm gonna choose psychokinesis.
Okay. Would you rather give up the internet or your pet?
Internet. Yep. Easy.
I I completely agree. On the line of pets, we are hopefully I keep saying we're going to do it. It's just been very crazy trying to get through everything with Love is Blind. Do the Pupcast where we are going to promote pet adoption by
Love
having
that.
reality celebrities and entertainment personalities come on and talk about their pets. So would you like to join us and talk about Winnie the Bish?
100%. As his agent, I agree to this deal.
Okay,
Winston
great.
will be
We
there.
will
Yeah,
provide him unlimited boops and treats for doing that. And we
perfect.
we are happy to hear that. Would you rather ghost or be ghosted?
Oof. I think I would rather be ghosted
Okay.
because I think I'm at the point where I know it's just there's more there. It wouldn't be about me, and I would rather kind of I don't want to say take the bullet, but I would rather take that myself and knowing that I can handle it and deal with it rather than the other way around.
Okay. Along those same lines, would you rather kiss everyone you meet or never kiss anyone again?
I definitely don't want to kiss everyone I meet. Yeah, so I'm gonna go never kiss anyone again. I'm
Yeah, it's
sorry
such
to
a
my girlfriend.
weird yeah, it's such a weird thing, I pull these questions obviously from the internet, from what interesting ones I can find, and I really
Sure.
wanna know who would answer, "I'd rather kiss everyone I meet." I wanna dissect their personality, I want to see psych evaluations, it's
Right?
just to each their own, but that I truly don't get.
So someone will say it one day, and I'm definitely curious to meet them.
The day
But
they
they
do,
just
I will call you.
yeah, just not in person because I don't want them to kiss me.
Would you rather fulfill your biggest wish or resolve your biggest regret?
Oh gosh, these are so thought-provoking. I think I'm settled with my regrets. I would probably fulfill my biggest wish.
Okay, and what is your biggest wish? Didn't know there was
Honestly,
a follow-up, did you?
yeah, no, I didn't, but I had a feeling that maybe you were gonna ask that. I was like, I better have a follow-up. Um, I don't know. Honestly, this is not a sexy or exciting answer, but my biggest wish is to one day just have just a family. I think I was put
Okay.
on this earth to be a dad, so I hope that one day I get to have just a really healthy family who lives long, healthy lives.
Aw, and that leads to our last question, and I think we probably all know the answer. Would you rather have
Yeah,
love or money?
love for sure.
Now, Julian, I'll explain why in a second, but please pick a number between 1 and 54.
13.
13 it is. So what we're going to do here is I have these lovely spirit animal cards. They're
Okay.
kind of similar to tarot, but they just have these little like animal faces on them. And then yours is kangaroo cycle. So that was lucky number 13. So I'm going to read
Okay.
this to you and you tell me if at all you think this applies to your life. This is the second
Okay.
time we're doing this. So it might mean nothing.
Okay.
Now, again, this is the kangaroo cycle. A 9-month cycle is at play. Your current project will take 9 months to mature and benefit you. Commit to it fully. You have all the strength and stamina you need as long as you move forward and not backward.
Wow. Um, yeah, no, I think there's definitely some application there to my life for sure. Definitely in the middle of
Okay.
some big projects and life changes that I've been having to just like stay determined to persevere through. So yeah, there's definitely
Okay.
some application,
When I read the first thing I read initially was the 9 months, and I'm thinking, is he about to announce?
right?
He's just talking about having a family.
Yeah, yeah. That was a little odd, but unless my girlfriend hasn't told me something, I
Yeah.
think we're okay. I think we're
You
okay.
let us know. You give us the exclusive if she does.
You'll be one of the first to know, Gina. I promise.
Thanks. All right, Julian, thank you so much for joining us. What would you like to promote, if anything, and where can we follow you on social?
I appreciate that. I just appreciate the opportunity. This really was great to be out there.
Thank
You can
you.
follow me on Instagram, obviously JJT, 103. I'm not really on any other, platform. Of course, I'm on LinkedIn, which is how Love is Blind found me. But I'm definitely most active on there. Only thing I'd want to call out and promote, still in the process of trying to find an organization, but I do encourage people to think about our veterans out there in the U.S. My father is a U.S. Airman and fought in Vietnam. Unfortunately, that's why he contracted cancer because of Agent Orange and the exposure to that when they were using that chemical out there. And that's ultimately what led to his cancer diagnosis and why he left
Sure.
us a little bit too soon. So I just want to promote and encourage folks out there to just do what they can to help support just veterans' rights and advocate for just the soldiers and the men and women who just put their lives on the line for our country. And so yeah, just hope we can one day just get to a more equitable place with what we provide our veterans, and hopefully one day there'll be some more news with some of the work and some of the projects. Speaking of the kangaroo card, some of the projects that I'm working on to try to get a little bit closer to that reality.
Well, we love to see it. And when you do have those projects come to fruition, please come back and feel free to share them with us. Kenny
Thank
had
you.
shared on his time on the show 2A Bourbon, which gives
Yep.
back to veterans and disabled
Yep.
veterans in need. So that's another great cause. And we hope to have you when we promote. We're going to do a little crossover, Love is Blind Battle of the Seasons, where we raise money for pet adoption through a
Love
Family
that.
Feud style game of different Love is Blind casts. So we hope to have you back for that too.
I love that. Count me in. I'll be there.
Awesome. All right, Julian, thank you so, so much. And we'll chat with you soon. We loved having you. And for everybody listening, please tune into the Love Pod wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. You can follow Julian at JJT103, and you can follow the Love Pod wherever you are on social at Love Pod Podcast. We love you, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.